like we got a couple people up in here now. All right, let me see. Do the stream on YouTube. Like we got a couple people up in here now. All right, let's see.
Sweet. Awesome sauce. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the North Node, South Node.
Yup, it's going down. Okay, look, I see we're live. We're here on it live now.
Here.
Ladies and gentlemen, nice to see you all. Obviously, you know who I am. A few of you on here might know, might not know. Who knows? Peace Dealer. He's going to go ahead and introduce himself and let us know what's going down for the day. We are talking about the North Node transiting Taurus, South Node out here in Scorpio, and what that looks like.
Ladies and gentlemen. And honestly, I know you just told me, but like, you know, how you feeling with this moon in Taurus?
Yo, I just told him up front, like, I'm feeling lazy, yo. I'm hella lazy right now. I'm like, we would be like 15 minutes behind when we said we were even gonna go, and I'm just kind of like, yeah,
right.
I'm like, it's cool. We out here, do the do when it gets there. Yo, I actually just dropped in the chat. Apparently, it created this whole separate link from the link I sent you. I just dropped it in the chat. If is there anywhere you want to put it? That said, I'm actually really excited about this, and I'm gonna go ahead and ask you up front, like, yo, what are you most excited about when it comes to this transit? January 18th, it kicks off, all right, for like a year and some change. It's gonna keep going to 2023. When you think about this transit, what's the first thing that excites you about Taurus going into the North Node, leaving out of Gemini?
Well, you just said it, man. It's a different, it's gonna end in 2023. And everything about 2023 for me is just like, so what's the word? So the end of the world, to be honest. Without being too apocalyptic though, you know, the astrology of 2023 is just so nuts. It's very revealing as far as like, you know, we live now, baby. Shout out to Instagram family. The transition period of, you know, 2023, where we're going to start to see Pluto in Aquarius, as well as Saturn get ready to come out of Pisces or into Pisces. So, you know, we know that Saturn and Taurus is literally the last stand. To me, that's the promised land. We're coming out the Gemini portal and then Pisces portal, and then we land in Taurus. And that's going to be the manifestation where we ground everything before, boom, Pluto Aqua 2023. So it's just very interesting for sure.
It's almost like everything. It's almost like Saturn Aquarius and Jupiter Aquarius, kind of like the leak into like the little, almost a foreshadow of what that looks like when Pluto goes into Aquarius.
For real.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I was talking to him prior about like strike on X, Y, and Z channels. It's kind of like it's the Aquarius gang wars.
Aquarius gang war, yo, straight up. People getting censored left and right. If you have like millions of subscribers or like 10 subscribers, they coming for you. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild. So they struck my channel because of a song I made, and they said that I made claims that were against medical misinformation. And I was like, the dictionary definition of the word claim is, you know, making a statement. And I said the dictionary definition of the word parody is making satire with exaggerated effect. This song is a parody. I made no claims, but they rejected my appeal because they ain't shit. So it is what it is.
Hey, you get out of there when you get out. I've been, and you know, we've been seeing this as a theme just in general. Like the whole rise of like everybody, influencer or not, just getting knocked off of their platforms. And it's kind of like one of those, like, ain't nobody safe. I really feel like that. It's like, ain't nobody safe. It almost don't even matter who you are anymore. Like people get knocked up, but
they tried to come for Nicki Minaj.
Did it work?
Well, see, that's the thing. So I love that you said that. Like people are getting knocked off, and that's Saturn in Aquarius regulating the mainstream authority. Like Saturn Aquarius is controlling even to the president. Like he got so much of a reach. He was tweeting to like millions of people. They banned him. But get this, what is it squaring? Uranus and Taurus. Now he built his own social media platform. So it's like securing, it's now the individual doing mainstream numbers. And so like if we use, you know what I'm saying? Like imagine going platinum or diamond without any label behind you. That's Uranus and Taurus. So I mean, we're entering the promised land. And what do you feel about Gemini 0 degrees, you know, the North Node? Like we're really, right, we're here, 30 degrees Taurus.
No, I saw that, right? I literally just, I kid you not, I'm gonna even share my screen for a second. I literally just peeped that. I think I went to January 18th. So this is actually when we transit Taurus finally goes into the node, into the North Node. But I was just looking at that 0 degrees, like you spoke on it. What is today? Today is the 10th. No, shit, it's the 12th. And I realized Gemini being 0 degrees, it's like, you know, anything at 0 degrees is pretty much the raw essence of itself, right? So now it's almost like, I'm gonna leave this screen thing alone. So it's almost like the pure essence of Gemini, right? And I think of like the Gemini is like the lungs of astrology, right? Like the lungs of the world, like when it comes to communication. It's almost like without Gemini, like we're not gonna spread all these ideas and this knowledge in that mutable way where, you know, that whole South Node being in Sag, where we're stepping away from everybody having to be the guru, everybody having to be like, you know, that self-righteous one, and realizing that like by communicating with others, it doesn't have to always make sense for us to walk into and towards that collective destiny. It doesn't have to always you don't have to always have to be right. It's not about truth in the sense of being right, but rather than allowing ourselves to communicate what our skills are, right? If I think Gemini, what are our skills? What are our talents? You know, what are those behavioral functions that we can only discover through conversation? And so that's kind of what I think about that. And I think that opened up everything, especially when the South Node went over Sagittarius during that eclipse time frame and last, what, December 4th or so. Yeah. So I think this is the magic, honestly. This next transit, I'm dumb hyped about, because you spoke about, you know, the president then being able to create as an individual his own platforms, right? And it's like, this is one of the biggest themes I see happening for this whole 2022. And it's like, it's money, right? Taurus, Bitcoin, okay? Taurus, ownership, like not being able to get knocked off your ass or knocked off your horse just because it's individual, right? It's like, when I think Uranus, you got like, okay, the revolution, the rebellion, when it comes to using technology, okay, let's say blockchain in this instance, to provide security, stability, let's say Taurus, in the money space, right? We're separating ourselves from the banks. This is one of the main things I see happening, because when you now consider Scorpio being in the South Node, it's like, all right, all the secrets that, let's say, the banks used to hold up, or just for this instance, about what does it mean to bank, right? Like no one understands how much money the bank is making off of your money sitting in the bank. And a lot of people kept secrets about, let's say the bank in this instance, kept secrets about how to manage your money. Kanye West says this as well. Like no one teaches you finances. You can't, who knows how to balance a checkbook? You know what I'm saying? Like who knows where to put their money? You're not educated. None of us are educated on any of that. And I see those secrets kind of like with the South Node of Scorpio and that privacy about finances. Okay, North Node and Taurus. I see all of that coming out, and we're having discussions, right? I think that's what the
The clubhouse and the spaces, which is also Aquarian too. Like now groups of people are coming together and offering, like with discords, we can teach you our secrets, and it's like a currency of knowledge. So there's that aqua end of it too.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So take us one more step in. Let's give the people some concrete, like either forecasts, dates to look out for, or even expectations, like to better prepare themselves around this North Node transit in Taurus, around this South Node in Scorpio. Give us the piece deal or take.
Beautiful. So I would say since 2019, end of 2019 into 2020, the North Node in Gemini really crystallized a lot of ideas. I would say distinctly, it changed your mind. Like it changed the direction of your mind. It changed the nature of how you think. I mean, you know, a literal government global reset and pandemic took over everything. So like everyone was forced to change how they think. Everyone was forced, Saturn and Capricorn, to change how they think, North Node Gemini, right? So all the ideas you have had since 2020 are manifesting. They're being made real. And it's not even as simple, on a deeper level, it's not even as simple as what you're consciously thinking. What neural pathways did you build through Gemini? What thoughts were you committing to in building your mindset? Because now subconsciously, North Node Taurus manifesting all of that into your reality. And one thing that should be very distinct in understanding is South Node Scorpio is like, I didn't realize how much of the rare sauce that is, because now the trend of the South Nodes are touring the social signs. We finished the galactic collective tour. And it's important to speak on that. South Node through Pisces, that was like what, 2010, through Sagittarius now has ended a cycle of the collective energy. Because Pisces, Aqua, Capricorn, Sagittarius all correlate to collective themes. If we think about all the controversies that have happened and how they apply to everyone in the world, now from South Node Scorpio, Libra, Virgo, and Leo, we're touring through the social signs. So a lot of these themes are going to be more specific in our personal social interactions. Taurus, Scorpio is individual, Taurus, Scorpio, social. So this is going to really hone in so much more specifically on how all these collective conflicts relate to you. That Scorpio stinger, what are you innovating and manifesting to contribute to the Aquarius collective, right? But also, I love how you said secrets that are coming in to really influence manifestation, especially for the Pluto Scorpios. You're coming into the secrets of what's going to manifest this innovation for you. Mm-hmm. And really put full circle with Jupiter in Pisces, the unlocking of the pure energy to harness naturally. So in a nutshell, this pipeline is like being in a gold rush and striking oil. And so you're distilling that pure oil that's crude into oil you can sell from a gas pump or naturally use. And for a lot of you, you know, this oil is your own pure talents. And I feel like so many people are going to break through like never before into stuff you've been working since North Node Scorpio, you know what I'm saying, 10 years ago, that it's just going to change the game for you as we close this one cycle and end into a new cycle where you've completed and manifested everything. Normally, you know, I'd focus on the Taurus end, which I would love, you know, when you speak on this, you know, the Uranus Taurus end, but I want to kind of focus first on the Scorpio end, because that foundation of the Scorpio being the last social sign is the complexity of everyone's feeling socially. This is why Leo starts that social axis in the day where the sun rises and you amp yourself up, you go out, you have fun. But Scorpio is at the end of the night when it's time to have sex, you know what I'm saying? And be intimate with people. Or to be intimate with you, you got to share your individual Cancer feelings, and that's complex because, you know, people don't always have the same feelings, and it's going to be extreme. So this is going to really evoke a lot of radicalism. We're going to see more terrorism than we've ever seen. And it's already starting to happen. Like, one of my biggest fears came true. I've been saying for a while now, and I don't think I'm the only one, Pluto in Aquarius is the star killer saga. Like, the whole notion of like celebrities just getting shot up and killed to beef more security is happening. And Pluto's at the end. We're seeing so many, you know, rappers alone just like get shot. But it's not just rappers who are getting touched. Like, these pop stars, these R&B singers, it's less common, but like it's this invisible energy. If you think about the illusion of peace, and if you think about the thin thread, like, what is that thin thread that allows people, why, like, how come right now everyone in New York is not rioting and saying fuck the rules, we're just going to throw stuff around?
I don't know how they got New York the way they got New York. I've been thinking about that, and when I saw that, I was like, oh crap, we in for it, bro. Like, I was like, yo, you done took the most populated city in the United States and you put that junk on clamps. And
my bad, I didn't even, because I see where you're going with that, and what they're doing in New York and Cali is despicable. But what I meant personally, and we should please hold that thought, because we should, because what you're talking about is quintessentially South Node Scorpio, North Node Taurus. But I just meant figuratively, like, how come people in Idaho aren't throwing stuff around, right? There's this like invisible law. It's so fascinating if you think about it. Why do we follow the law? Why does everyone just make the decision to just follow the rules? Like, you have people who don't, but a majority of the people follow the law. If you think about it, other than the Duress, right? Because everyone is being forced to do what they do under Duress. Do this or we'll throw you in prison. Basically, we'll take our military mercenary and force you to do it, right? But this is under the rhetorical guise of for the people, by the people. If you think about governments and territories, and you have to think about government structure, because Pluto in Capricorn is killing that. Once it goes into Aquarius, that like there's nothing real that has people following the laws. It's all rhetorical. That's gonna die. So the whole notion of like, you know, this is what's gonna lead to anarchy. This is going to lead to more crime. This is going to lead to more terrorism, because people are awakening to the fact that these government officials, and that's, it's not a bad thing. I don't want to say the government is bad, because a lot of this was put into place by people, but it doesn't reflect everybody. And so people are going to awaken to the fact that the only thing stopping them from really doing, and it's not about doing as you please, but like the only thing that is making them agree to follow these laws and mandates is them. And now that switch is about to flip, where people awaken to the fact that government authorities do not have any authority to rule over them. And this is going to lead into, you know, with these things happening. I heard someone in Canada saying that, you know, now they're starting to impose a health tax if you're not, you know what I'm saying? And peaceful Canada has people starting to riot. So like, you know, everything is set in place. The stages are set in place. The Astro World Festival happened during the new moon in Scorpio. So that's a sneak peek of the South Node of Taurus, North Node Taurus transit. Like, imagine the whole transit is an Astro World Festival. So like, it's just very interesting. Right. So
because we got two eclipses. Some are partial in Scorpio and two in Taurus this year, 2022. And like you said, that was a glimpse on Astro World, new moon in Scorp, right? Mm-hmm. And that was buck wild. I couldn't even believe what was happening when
and it featured Drake and Travis, Scorpio and Taurus.
Yeah,
crazy.
Yeah, it's getting super real. Let me check in with this real quick. Somebody, Lucifer Light, was curious about like the banking system, and what might the Pluto return in the U.S. I think that's the key. That I honestly believe that every astrologer has been like doing one of these on like, how might Pluto and Cap really implode at the end, right? Like, how might it really implode? Like, what might that really look like? What do you?
Everyone knows. Everyone's just afraid to admit it. There's not a single astrologer that doesn't know. It's just we know so much, or like we hope it's not true. So let's just be real, because like every astrologer was like, Pluto's gonna go into Cap, we're gonna see government get exposed and corrupt. That happened. Uranus is gonna go into Taurus, the market's gonna crash. That happened. So like we're about to see the end of the system. Just like the last time Pluto was there, we saw the end of the colonial rule of England in the colonies. It was done. It was done. And it had everything to do with money. It had everything to do with the financial system, taxation without representation. So like, you know, we've been having new currencies, but now it's coming back around because when that cycle started, and it's the most important thing people need to understand, because Pluto in Capricorn, when America was established, happened around the period that France had its revolution and ended monarchies and spread that idea of revolution throughout Europe, right? So the revolution was already happening, but Pluto at the end of Capricorn, right, is so key because it's a collective sign that pertains to everybody. And so this was a period of colonialism where a lot of cultures, a lot of indigenous peoples, a lot of immigrants since 1776 have moved here, been influenced by politics here. And so all of that is coming back around to bring now the generational influence of that in this revolution. So it's no longer between colonialists and England. Now it's the whole new world.
Yeah.
And right, and it's a whole new world. So I mean, it's a fascinating question because for the banking system, we already see the integration into cryptocurrencies. Like, you know what I'm saying? Where this whole North Node in Taurus, Uranus coming into Gemini is the end of physical currency and coming into digital currency for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. No, for sure. I see somebody saying basically, thank you. I always like to try to like include the people because I'm like, yo, who are we talking for at the end of the day, right? Like, who are we talking for?
And two.
The terrorism note. Yup. You know, I was almost looking at it like because you got Uranus and Taurus, you know, some of that is going to be on land, right? Like at one point, I was thinking like it might be all like digital terrorism, if you will.
Cyber terrorism. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Cyber terrorism.
A new age of cyber terrorism.
A whole new age.
Yeah.
You know.
You remember the OnlyFans leak?
I didn't. What is that? I don't know that one.
So there were certain hacks that happened. It's like a sneak peek. So the way you know this is going to come on is there going to be a lot of techno hacks. So basically, like PlayStation OnlyFans, that one site where people can cheat on people. Basically, the first round of hacks, everyone's encrypted secret info is brought to the public. Like that's the first judgment day.
Wow.
It's like all the secret messages and like emails people had. What if that was all revealed? That's a judgment day. Like some people would be safe because they'd be like, I didn't have anything bad. Some people will kill themselves because they have so much to hide and now it's public and they know that people. So like, you know, it's going to be crazy. But yeah, cyber terrorism for sure.
This is I really think that people are going to sleep on the South Node and Scorpio part, right? I feel like there might be an easier, simple focus on the North Node and Taurus, but I think the sleeper is going to be Scorpio because I say this as a Scorpio rising as well, right? And I see Claire here. She made me think of this because she said she's a Scorpio rising as well. Or is she a Scorpio? Yeah, she's a Scorpio rising as well. And this is the sleeper. And the reason why I say it is like, I don't think anybody really understands how deep in the depth that a Scorpio is willing to go and actually does go. I really don't think that is fathomable, right? And so what am I saying? This shit is exposure. Like, yo, this is collective. You think North Node, South Node, this is collective exposure on everybody's destiny, okay? Destiny, like you're going there. Wherever that is, whatever that looks like, we're all going there. And when you put Scorpio, anything in the South Node is decreased in a sense, right? And North Node is increased. So it's like we're decreasing the amount of privacy that has been withheld, that has allowed some of these, let's say, Capricornian structures to exist, right? These governmental regulations. it's like all of that shit is so blown out of the water sooner than soon. And this starts on January 18th. And I'm almost like, I think it's 28 degrees on the sun on the 18th, 28 degrees on the sun, 29 with Taurus and Uranus.
With Cap, yeah, right, yeah.
Right away. And it's like 29 right away, shining consciousness on a conscious light on the Capricornian structures, if you will. It's almost like, wait a minute. And you got Uranus at 29 degrees. Everybody know anoretic degrees is where shit pops off. This is the pop, that's the pop off degree. So I kind of see that happen. This is like, you know, we're going to have, I look at Taurus a very perceptive sign. I think like low key, like people don't really give it enough credit for the perceptivity of a Taurian, right? Because it's like, it is the opposite of Scorpio, right? It's a sister of Scorpio. Everybody knows, quote unquote, that Scorpio has that perceptive eye, but I think they don't give Taurus credit for being the sister sign of it. And so when I see something like that, you put Uranus being the rebellion, the revolution, and that perceptivity that Taurus is going to bring on the natural land and how we consciously understand what has been set up from a structural standpoint and how it has basically betrayed the integrity that makes us feel safe within ourselves, I think is going to just start off drastic. Like I think it's gonna be a drastic start.
No, that's the most important thing you said, because I think the most telling thing, and it's awesome because the Nords always start with 29 degrees.
Right.
Like, you're completely right. Like this, I think out of all the North Node starts, this one's going to be the most explosive, pun intended.
Yeah.
And to speak on what you said, Scorpio is extremism. Extremist is Scorpio energy, and these people will, like, you know what I'm saying, they'll do whatever. And you know, get comfortable. Neptune is building a whole metaverse. Saturn is the coding. Neptune is the actual experience of an actual different reality. That's all Piscean, right? Mm-hmm. Get comfortable, everybody, with the whole notion that realistically speaking, you know, we are going to have technology, and this isn't a bad thing. I'm not talking about the mark of the beast, but like, get comfortable with the whole notion that you're going to have microchip implants to spend money to actually operate in a metaverse, or maybe instead of a microchip, like an eye patch or like some kind of card. This is actually extraordinary technological advancement. And like, it could be easy to get caught up in conspiracy theories and be like, no, we need it physical. We need it physical. Technological advancement is technological advancement. It's an amazing thing. When it's in the hands of corrupt people who are going to use it for bad, it's not a good thing, right? But you have to get comfortable with this, because it's not for you. It's for your kids and your kids' kids. A lot of the older heads are going to be like, we want it physical, but your kids are going to think it's cool. They're going to put it into entertainment. All their favorite influencers are going to be doing it. It's the new wave. There's nothing that's going to stop that. And it's not bad, because we already do it. Everyone, like Elon Musk said, is already Android. You have like a phone attached to you, and everything in society is kind of integrating that. So that's where we're headed next. And honestly, it's going to be a part of what leads us into a utopian society, because there's so much positive with it, but there's so much negative that's going to be brought up first. I mean, for example, the metaverse already have gloves to where you can feel things in the metaverse. That's Uranus, Taurus, Neptune, and Pisces. But then also there's already been a sexual harassment allegation in the metaverse where somebody said someone groped their titties. And I'm like, who programmed into this metaverse that you can even grope boobs? Like, that's the real question right there. So, you know, South Node Scorpio, technology like this is going to bring off the exposure of the darkness and like the very, you know, Pluto, Scorpio, intense, I wanted to say like rapey vibes, but like really just, you know, extreme, what's the word? Domineering. It is what it is. But I think for so many people, we're literally stepping into a brand new paradigm. It is the promised land. It is a paradigm where people are going to finally step into a foundation that they've wanted to for years. New levels, new devils. And the thing with this is, if you think about the story of the promised land, Moses led out like thousands of people, but a lot of people don't remember that only 2 people went to the promised land. Like at some point, God was like, all right, I'm killing these niggas. They're so annoying. They keep complaining. Moses was like, please, God, spare them, spare them. But like at the end of the day, no, the generation of people who left Egypt didn't enter the promised land. It was the younger generation, right? And then ultimately like 2 people. Yeah, but or a limited amount. And then when they went to the promised land, they still had to fight giants there. Like they had to deal with the Philistines, and these were like Nephilim ranked beings. So it wasn't like they went to the promised land and then everything was happily ever after. And then they had to actually build the kingdom of Israel. And that's what, and kingdom and ownership is all about Taurus. So we're on the promised land so that we can build our kingdom. But in that promised land, we had to rid it of influences on there, right? So that we can build and clear it, which really just sounds like colonialism. But other than that, you know, it's amazing because the unique value that you're going to manifest, I feel like a major feature of this transit is making everything you used to do obsolete. And I feel like so many people like you and I are going to like manifest through our energy, or maybe like through something tangible as well, definitely tangible, a means with which you kind of are outside the system. Like you may never have to spend money ever again in your life, because now you figured out a way to produce your own value. And so if you never worked another job, if you never had money, you're cool. You have your own value, you have your own currency.
Yo, what you just said is major, because so right now I'm in San Diego, and this was at one point 4 years ago. I moved here, and I have not been back since. 4 years ago I moved here. I stayed here for 1 year, and being back now, it's really ironic because it plays right into what you're saying. Like when I first came here, I was doing life coaching online. Okay, I had my own clients that I picked up. Really wasn't enough to sustain, right? It was like it covered a portion of my bills, but also had to do personal training on the beach, and then bartending here in San Diego, and then also delivering pizza, right? So I look at it as like, here's this 4-job hustle, right? Where now it's like 3 years later, I'm back for the first time, and I work 1 job. And it was the job that I set out to have when I came here, which was YouTube, right? Literally YouTube, and to be able to travel, but be free, so quote unquote, and with this 1 job. And I'm here now, and through YouTube, it's like clients have booked me out, where it's like I just ran a mini retreat here, right? With all astrology loving type people, but doing physical, tangible things, okay? Literally, focus on like emotional release. I actually dropped that in the comments, so I'm doing a free concert for people. I got an Italian jazz artist coming in if y'all want to check that out. And the point I'm looking to make right now is everything in the middle of that last 3 years before I came back to the US was like the value, the exchanges were coming through my own developed values, if you will, more so energetically, honestly. Like energetically, there were exchanges, okay? In the meanwhile of this whole journey to come back full circle. But then when I look at it, it's like everything that's happening now, it's almost so the value exchange in the meanwhile was intangible, which then kind of full circle swang back to being something tangible. You know what I'm saying? Like it almost had, it's kind of like having a Lilith and Taurus almost. It's like having to release the money, right? To release the comforts, to release the stability. I don't know if Lilith and Taurus was the right example in that moment, but to then like almost energetically reattract it, to physically now have the money, have the security, have the stability. Does that make sense? Did you catch my drift on that?
Yeah, and please say it again.
Yo, it's like the simplicity of it. I think one of those value exchanges you were talking about, I think Taurus was the voice. Yeah. Right? Taurus being the throat chakra, being the throat, the voice. It's like ultimately via YouTube, this is my value. Like the power of my voice, the power of my expression is what creates literally physical, tangible security, okay? Home, housing, right? Me using my voice has given me a home here.
Wow,
literally.
that's deep. That's so deep.
You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't pay to be here, but all it came down to was my voice. Literally.
That's
and it's
deep.
like, this is one of the ways I see, you know, definitely anybody listening, check where Taurus in your natal chart sits.
Yep.
Understand that these are going to be the areas of your life in 2022 where you're going to go through an increase. Okay. You're going to go through, you're going to just feel more stable in these areas, and also look at your Scorpio. So let's use you and I. We're prime examples right now because you have a Taurus rising.
29-degree Mercury too. So that North Node's about to instantly,
crap.
and 27-degree rising. So
Damn, you 29 on Mercury.
yeah.
Oh, so you're at the top of the list.
Yeah, we first up over.
Yeah, you that's lightning fast. You're at the top of the list. Where's your Mercury? What placement is your Mercury? Taurus?
29 Taurus, yeah. I got the 20-degree Gem Sun and then 29 Taurus. So I was so focused on North Node Gemini, I completely forgot Taurus was amongst me. I'm like, oh shit, like it's about to hit and hard.
It's gonna 2020. Oh my God, I'm telling you. So it's like, all right, so you have that on your rising and you have that conjunct on your Mercury. So all right, and we're gonna switch it off, and you'll predict it for me. So you're predicted for my your rising, I'm gonna predict it for you.
Yeah. I love that.
So here's kind of what I see with that happening. I see you potentially, let's say, not necessarily being so slow, and I say slow, quote unquote, not being so slow to communicate like your true worth, right? Like I think, like even if I watch your stuff, it's like you got some next steps. I was thinking about it when I knew you got striked. I was thinking about it and I was like, dang, this is probably him going through, because I think you have a Cat Moon, right? I was like, this is probably him going through the moment of what Cat hates the most, no control. It's like, fuck, I can't control that part, right? And so it's like having to like, but Doran knows, I was thinking, this is when surrender comes. And when they surrender, they literally get spiritually enlightened on the other side. It's like, it's the system. It's the depression cycle for Capricorn, if you will. It's like, fuck, I got control of these things. And then now magically I just don't. This doesn't even make sense, but it bothers me. However, I recognize I can only surrender. And then as soon as I do, the depression pretty much fades and I become spiritually enlightened. So kind of like what I see for this transit for you more on the Taurus side is like, I mean, with 2 eclipses coming in Taurus as well.
Yeah.
Right? You got the North Node there as well. I mean, damn, bro. Like you're going to fully step all the way this year, 2022. I think you're going to express that worth in brand new levels of creativity. Like I really see Taurus as a super creative sign, right? But it's going to be very like, it's going to come out in a very natural way, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is the magic. It's going to come out in a very natural way where whatever parts of you are excessive, whatever that is in your own area of life, anything like where you have maybe any placements at 8 degrees, right? For one of those Scorpio degrees, any of those excessive areas, you're gonna be able to tame them. I really feel like you're gonna be able to tame them and logically be able to make sense of why this is always destined for you, why this is always going to be linked to the bigger wealth that's coming in for you 2020. Like, look, like you're literally gonna be rising into your wealth this year. Okay, this is a guarantee. You're gonna literally be rising into your wealth this year.
Wow.
And it's gonna come into you allowing these excessive forms of, let's say you got banned recently, okay, by expressing like singing, right? Like literally like using your throat or rapping, using your throat chakra. I really see you rising into your wealth by allowing that Uranus and Taurus to do its job and to shake shit up and be like, you're gonna just be blessed. This is the simple reality. Like you're gonna be blessed. Like your personal revolution, your individual revolution is going to roar and it's gonna pay you for it. Yeah, that's kind of what I foresee, like just off the top of the dome. But what
Wow.
about you? What are you feeling on the?
Well, first of all, that was 1,000% accurate. I think you put it into words what I've been feeling, but in a way that makes so much sense because, coming out of Gemini, like the North Node in Gemini helped me recognize my true worth, but the Taurus is going to have me embody it. And everything on my mind is full embodiment, and you just nailed it. Like I'm rising into that and kind of just like grounding the excess. So I'm very grateful. And knowing you're a Scorpio rising is even more significant. In fact,
What a Pluto 12. I'm gonna tell you now, what a Pluto Scorp 12.
well, the first thing I wanted to talk about was Pluto Scorpio, because Pluto Scorpios going through this is going to be different than any other Pluto. Like this South Node is for us Pluto Scorpios. And just to kind of explain that, the Pluto Sagittarians got the South Node just now, but they didn't have their Saturn returns.
Uh-huh.
Right. The Pluto Capricorns had their South Node, but not all of them were born yet. We are the first Pluto generation to have this South Node post Saturn return. It's going down. And that's why it's going to hit so hard for us instantly than anyone else. That is the full release and unlocking of all the supernatural energy and power that was hidden or unconscious. Now our Saturns have returned. We're like having the full access of our energy. And this is going to really, pipeline a serious currency. So that's the first thing I kind of want to express. Your rising in Scorpio is very significant, but that 12th house aspect and really just Pluto in Scorpio in general, once again, if you were born from 85 to 83 to 95, this is so very important, especially those of you born from like 95 to 1990. You're coming into it first. That South Node Pluto is going to be purely transformative. It's going to change the game completely. And I dare say this nodal opposition brought both of us together. And that's actually why, we're connecting through destiny. So, as a Scorpio rising, this is whereas I'm embodying and manifesting and rising into this value, you are being used as a resource to bring wisdom that you represent to ground other people. You kind of literally just did that to me. Like when you interpreted it, you took the wisdom you represent and you now gave me greater grounding into who I am. So it's like you're hooking other people up. To be honest, this is a relationship transit for you, where because you've done the work since 2010 to build everything, now you're connecting with everyone who's meant to be in your path to now manifest everything together. Which is so important, right? But you're unlocking the full nature of yourself as pure king. And the inhibition, right? Because the way I see it, Pluto in the 12th was like, this energy is so extreme and powerful. If we were to just unlock it for you at such a young age, you'd be like Superman, right? Just hearing everyone's voice is like, but now your Saturn's returned and you've got your strength back, you're of age, you're getting ready to like fully step into that purity and strength of like your true self, which is just gangster.
Yo, that's a really good point, because obviously I don't know who could, when I was younger, I don't know who naturally would be able to understand a Pluto 12, because that shit is bonkers, especially with conjunct ascendant. Like it didn't make sense. But that voices in the head part you were talking about is like, I've had different days when I was like maybe 16. That shit crushed me, bro. Like, and again at like 20, 21, crushed me. Like it's like I can't handle this. Like working in the spaces of therapy and working with people in the behavior changes, like hearing the stories, right? You can only imagine, like, people go to therapy because shit's fucked up, right? Like shit's fucked up somewhere, some way, whether that is fucking watching death or rape and yada yada yada. So it's like when people would tell me these stories, I was like, oh shit, I was not prepared. Like I don't think you could. It just crushed me. So it's really a insightful to hear you say that, because it's really true. I'm feeling so much more grounded. and you know, the chaos that Scorpio is always involved in somehow, some way, being pure light, right? Which means you attract the dark is attracted to it, right? I always think of it like this big black room, and you're just this one light, and it's like everybody knows where to go, right? They all see that light. So it would feel like that, but now it's like I'm starting to feel that so much more. I'm feeling grounded to the point where I'm like, I'm just good. It's almost like it created this unshakable nature. So thank you for sharing that. That was dope.
No problem. I'm very excited, and I'm excited to do retreats with you too, because one, it's out my comfort zone, but that's the North Node Taurus. It's making everything real, right? Super real. And that's really the theme here. Super real. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if you get married or if you step into a very significant partnership that, you know.
It's happening. First off, I'm in a 6 year, okay, through numerology, which is partnership.
Right.
So that's that. All the eclipses is hitting all year for you and I. Partnership, individuality, partnership, individual. It's like going back and forth all 2022 for Scorpio risings. And I feel that shit. Like, you know, I was just out sitting I met a girl today at the cafe. And here's the magic of it. I think this is how another live example of how Scorpio in the South Node and this transit with Taurus in the North is going to be magical, especially for the risings in Scorpio and the risings in Taurus. I think they're the stars of the year. Okay. I really believe that. I think 2022, yeah, those are the stars. And I've been finding myself accepting the less excessive, okay, let's say Scorpio South Node, the less excessive expressions of sexuality, okay, literally. And she had asked at one point, she's like, you know, what is your biggest distraction, right? And I said, for a long time, to be honest, it was women. Like, this is the simplicity. It was women. But when I thought about it, and I had said it as well, it's like, it wasn't women in the sense of like, I'm just out here having sex with everybody. It's like, more like, even just being that, let's say, emotional support system was keeping me out of my masculine and too deep.
Right. That's so real.
You see what I'm saying?
That's
and so
real.
that was the it. And I was like, I got the Phoenix card. Yo, today I had got the Phoenix card.
The Phoenix is rising. Wow.
Yep. And that she had pulled it. It was so dope that you say that. And it's like, when I look at it, I see this for everybody, whether you're a Scorpio rising or a Taurus rising. I see this for everybody in 2022. With sex now being in Scorpio's domain, if you will, and Taurus kind of being the more natural forms of sensuality, this is kind of what I really foresee. I foresee more tantric practices on sex, okay? People being less shy to talk about sex, to express sexuality. It's like, look, it's not going to be this like this taboo subject anymore, right? If eighth house Scorpio is taboo, it's like all of these things that we consider taboo, let's say astrology, occult, fucking vampires, call it what you want. It's like, I don't think that's actually, I know for a fact, especially being gone for 3 years out of the US and now being back on land, it's no longer a weird thing. People do tarot, working and making money, okay, Taurus, for your spiritual gifts, okay, let's say Scorpio and South Node, is not strange anymore. It's not like,
it's mainstream.
Mainstream, yo. Right. It's mainstream. And it's like, you know, people are now accepting, you know what, I used to always think that, you know, horoscopes is a little bit of, you know, hippie, hooby jooby. But now I'm starting to realize, like, you know, there's some magic to it. And it's funny as shit, because me being here is like, I got some old friends from 3 years ago. They're like, yo, how the hell are you doing it, P? Like, how could you go and live out of the US for 3 years and you just come back and your one job is astrology? It's like, well, I set my fucking mind to it. Like, this is the simplicity, right? Like, this is simplicity. And it's like, I think with the South Node Scorpio, it's like, we're all going to be able to start to accept what we see, okay? Through the illusions. If Scorpio sees through illusions, it's gonna be like accepting what we see straight through and manifesting it in reality. Honestly, it's just that simple. And being Taurus on the North Node, it's like being able to physically manifest what we see as for ourselves on a soul level, okay? Who we are at a soul level, to see right through it and be able to physically accept the individuality on scale, on land.
I love that. And I mean, the technology that's going to explode. Like we're literally on the verge of stepping into the next wave of technology and augmented reality, and realistically just grounding so super real the intangible nature of ourselves. And so while I think you touched really well on sex being totally revolutionized, going to be a huge sexual revolution. I kind of felt like issues between sex and gender are going to reach their climax. So there very well may be a triple goddess revolution where, and I kind of saw this already start, like the abortion argument kind of triggered that. And like, don't be surprised if some women are like sex boycotts. You know what I'm saying? And it's a social media trend that takes over, and like there's like a sex war. And it doesn't have to happen like that. I feel like if something like that happened, not every man and woman would take part. But, remember, Scorpio is a social sign. So going to be huge social individual movements, revolutions, stuff that's going to be.
Help me with that. I'm sorry, my enthusiasm.
You're straight.
Help me with that piece. So Scorpio is a social sign.
Yeah.
Right? We know it's in the middle four interpersonal signs. But we also know that it's very private, right? Exactly. In its own way. So how and what about Scorpio qualifies it in the social aspects?
It's the $1 million question, and that's what made me realize, holy shit, Taurus and Scorpio are more alike than they will ever admit. Because you can't get them to admit that, but they're so alike. Like it's a lot of what people think about Scorpio applies to Taurus, and a lot of
but they pretend they don't exist. It's like
thank you. Straight up.
And they so one of the things is Taurus is so stone cold, People be stunting like they don't got the stone cold face, They just cold. It's like you're not gonna get nothing out of a Taurus. I think that
Taurus doesn't even need you. Taurus doesn't even need you because they got it all. Like it's crazy.
Scorpio in need of others than Taurus. Taurus is self-sustainable.
So like to answer I love your question though, because that's what I used to think Scorpio was antisocial for the longest. And then I realized, no, wait, Scorpio is super social. They just don't fuck with it. They just don't fuck with people. Like that's why they have a tight social circle. And if you think about it, the reason why Scorpio is really social is because Taurus is what you have. Scorpio is investments. Now we're going to I need to gain your trust so that you can loan me money or you can invest in me. So this is where Scorpio deals with other people's resources. And the reason why Scorpio is truly social is it's the blending of individual feelings, all of that pipelines, the Cancer trine into Scorpio. And I realized Taurus looks social. Like Taurus, when they go out, has a stone face, but they're antisocial. They're going to stay home because you come to Taurus. Everyone comes to Taurus. We all need food. We all need that. Scorpio is social, but Scorpio doesn't fuck with anybody. So like they only fuck with the pure ones, but they're social. So you wouldn't know they're social because they probably, you know what I'm saying? Like they're not like Leo that's like, yeah, I'm on stage, blah, blah, blah. So it's interesting, very fascinating, very fascinating.
I think that the best way I can explain is when I learned about Capricorn third house. All right.
Right.
Communication on Capricorn. It's like Capricorn has that that social status in the ways that it communicates, right? It's like it has to be, it communicates masterfully.
Yes.
I look at it. And so it's like to communicate masterfully, let's just say, it doesn't require you to talk to everybody.
Exactly.
It doesn't,
true.
Get a certain status, a certain level of divinity. Okay. If I look at
Scorpio's royal too. So that's so true. Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And on top of that, here's the irony. I've learned one of the reasons why people think that Scorpio are so antisocial.
Right.
And I've learned to relate Scorpio to the heart chakra.
Yep.
So it's like, when you put that into effect, it's like, well, everybody only has a vast memory of Scorpios when they cross the line. And it tries to become the full scale narrative. Yeah, I almost gotta hit this. Everybody wanna they wanna forget about the part.
All the Scorpios are like, yep, Pernell going in, yep. Yeah.
Yo, and it's like they forget that betrayal part. It's like, yo, you crossed the line, homie. You gotta die.
And the scary thing about Scorpio is that you can cross the line and you won't even know what you said or did to cross the line. Like you won't even know that moment where like they've decided you're dead. That's what terrifies me about Scorpio, especially as a Gemini, because we say so much. We don't know that we fucking hurt Pisces feelings. We think it's all cool now, and now they're like, oh fuck. So it's very interesting, air with water. But I love what you said about third house Capricorn, because this is why Scorpio risings and Scorpios, everything they say is just super serious. Like they say, like Libra will say the most inspirational shit with the Sag third, but Capricorn, Scorpio risings have to like speak about the most deep, real shit. And that's why they hate small talk.
That's that Gemini 8th house.
Right.
That's
right.
8th house in Gemini. It's like, it's almost like,
deep
yo,
conversations.
if it ain't deep, it don't count.
Right. No, seriously.
If it ain't deep, it don't count. It's almost like we don't just talk the talk. And I had to learn, though, as a Scorpio rising, I will say this, I had to learn the importance of Gemini small talk. Like if it wasn't in the 8th, I had to learn that in order to build trust, not everybody is willing to go to the edge of all fucking cliffs before they some people need a step in, another step. I've had to learn that in very tough lessons, that like it doesn't always have to be so deep, and that there's an importance to some more superficial layers of conversation so that you can build trust. So that, you know what I'm saying? So that you can, so that even for me, myself, as Scorpio rising, so that Scorpios can step back into the fact that they are the heart chakra. And if you don't forgive, okay, not forget, but if you don't forgive, we're basically gonna deny the fact that we're still in the social four interpersonal signs, the so four middle zodiac. Yeah. We deny that. And then we close off the possibilities to invest, right, with others and resources, and like to multiply resources, right? So I found that to be very important.
No, that's so real. That's so real. And you know, on note of that, I think that's another thing that South Node Scorpio is going to bring. If you take every relationship you have with people, cumulatively and collectively, the conversations, the dynamics are going to be so uncomfortably intimate. You have to get comfortable with that uncomfort. Like it's going to be cringy for certain people how much closer you are. You're going to have a lot more, like you're going to be talking to things about people like sex that you wouldn't normally talk to, maybe with like your parents or maybe with like people close to you. And it's the Uranus opposition is going to make it cringy at first because there's so much of our eccentricities that we hide. Remember that notion, especially coming into the spiritual journey where people are like, I don't want to sound weird, but, and now we're at a position where you have to be fully present with all the weirdest parts of yourself and get intimate with other people in that. And it's going to transform everything.
I've been seeing it live. I kid you not. Like, you know, that I just had like that little mini picnic, if you will, with the lady I met at the cafe, and I had that conversation. I said, you know, to not look at women as meat, right? Literally, like, but to see, and I told her, as like, you know, the big change for me has been able to really look at you. She's fucking beautiful, literally, she's Mexican beauty, and I'm like, but to be able to look at her and see the divinity within her, right? To see that her feminine energy is rejuvenating, and that it doesn't mean just because there's a sexual polarity towards her that it has to be a physical act to follow it, that it could just be the embrace of her divine feminine, because these are the conversations I see with the South Node and Scorpio happening, being able to have that deep talk, but also in a very natural way, okay, personal node, where it's like, actually the beauty of this is because this is the big thing I see happening. It's men are being women nowadays, and women are being men. Just like I know there's a whole different level, a whole lot of sexualities out there. Okay, pandemic, it all exists.
I just heard Joe Budden and Ish talk about this on their podcast yesterday.
Yo, it's it. Women are now over abusing masculine energy, okay, because of the survival mode mentality. And that's also because men aren't understanding their purpose nor their direction, and they're just allowing themselves to be emasculated. Okay,
because of fatherless societies,
fatherless
and
society,
then also because our masculinity is psychologically reinforced with being toxic. So anytime men have actually stepped up to be men, oh, that's toxic. Oh, you're not supposed to do it like that. And that's just, it's so unfair. You know what I'm saying? And then that only hurts women because now women don't have men to be masculine to, and now they have to. So like, that's how the cycle feeds itself.
Yeah. I see somebody saying they wonder if Marin Altman will be, you know Marin Altman?
I've heard of her. Honestly, I feel shout out to her. I like how she's innovating, you know, astrology. That would be dope to go. I don't know if she's accessible like that. I feel like she'd be super busy, but shout out to her.
Everybody's accessible. What?
That's okay. That's good to know. I need
to
change
this
that
is what we should do. I'm gonna throw it out there. I'm gonna reach her, and we should do a third. We should do a 3, like, because you know this is Zoom, so I can have as many people in here as possible, like video. I mean, so we could have 3 different astrologers being able to all talk that talk. Yeah. I think she's really, from what I've seen, she's beast when it comes to financial astrology.
She's Scorpio, right?
I don't know, but she gotta be.
Yeah, her son's a Scorpio, I believe. Yeah,
I'm about to say she gotta be. The whole appeal.
Yeah.
The whole appeal. She
knows exactly what she's doing. Oh yeah,
bro. She's working them camera angles. She knows exactly. Exactly what's happening. So we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna throw that out to the universe. So let me check what I had. I had took like some many things happening. Okay, we're talking Taurus North Node. You're talking property, land. Okay, these are all things that are going to increase. I see real estate. I'm gonna let y'all know now. I really see real estate being something major, especially because Jupiter goes into Taurus, I think in spring 2023, and it's like this is the full expansion of that property, of that land. So it's like, I imagine that right now there was a little dip, I think, in the real estate, but I imagine that the increase is coming, you know?
There's going to be a crash and then the biggest rise. And the crash is going to psych people out and they're going to pull out. The people who keep it in are going to be wealthier. They're going to be set for life. So don't be afraid of the crash. The crash is inevitable. But this is going to be your chance to like go higher than ever.
Absolutely. Which is where I think Bitcoin is going to play its role, or just any digital currency, right? You talk Taurus North Node, you're talking increase. So it's like increase of this currency. And I say digital as well because of Uranus impact, right? It's like, I think technology, right? So it's like using technology in Uranus to physically have that money, if you will, in the digital world. Understanding, again, Jupiter and Taurus.
And inverse currencies.
Huh?
And inverse currencies, like the whole concept of someone can make a whole living with just a video game currency. Like they don't even have to work a job because they can go into the metaverse and literally make a living in a virtual reality. Like that's the new wave. That is the new wave. It's going to be ridiculous.
Absolutely.
It's going to be ridiculous.
No, it's really bonkers.
So all the people are like, oh, you shouldn't play video games all day. That's not going to make it. It'd be like, this is my time. Like, this is what I've been training for. Hold on.
There are people making guap playing video games.
Already,
guap.
Yeah.
Guap is ridiculous, yo. It's so
there are people getting guap just to commentate on people playing video games.
Right.
Like it's crazy. The gaming market is about to reach its apex for sure. Even crypto gaming is about to be legit.
What do you think games play into? What astrology sign?
Oh, games is definitely Gemini. But see, the game. So, and that's the most beautiful thing about what you said is that there's no specific zodiac sign for one thing. I had to kind of get out that thinking, but at the same time, you could still say like Gemini rules children's games. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So like every zodiac sign is an aspect of the game. Like the physical aspect will be the earth signs, the perception of the game, where the programming would be like Gemini, but the actual visual of the game is Sagittarius, right? But you know, I would say, I think it's kind of like Gemini because Gemini brings that duality between the observer and the observed. And then, you know, kind of, but I feel like there's different aspects. It's mercurial, right? But interestingly enough, like, it's just, I think the most important thing that I want to kind of express here, Uranus is revolution, right? It's revolutionary. And it's very important to study the Great Depression of America. This came after the booming 20s. So this is the reference. Uranus was in Taurus. You know what I'm saying? Right before the Civil War, Uranus in Gemini, Neptune in Aries. So history is repeating itself. I don't think like before it'll even be as devastating. I think what we're going to feature are stuff that on the surface will look catastrophic and look bad, like war and chaos, but it might be the greatest thing to happen to us all. It may not ever, like, we might have war, but it won't be as violent as we think it'll be. But because that happened, it kind of forced certain things to happen. So that's kind of like a way to don't necessarily get perturbed by how things look on the surface, because there's a South Node Scorpio or deeper meaning. But in a nutshell, and this is going to be what I'm really pushing forward, ultimately, Uranus is revolution. And this is the official start and kicking, because Jupiter is going to be in Aries to start the new cycle.
May, right?
Right when we start that eclipse, right after the eclipse. This eclipse is the official beginning of the social revolution of the individual. The social revolution of the individual relative to that 70-76 period where democracies and territories were established, which had to at the time, hypothetically, because we got out of monarchies, is coming back around so that we can get out of these territorial democracies and governments. Because the social revolution of the individual is every individual recognizing that the only sovereign above them is God, not a territory or a government. And this is going to bring revolution in how the individual owns their social experience, or, you know, how people socially reclaim their individuality.
It's going to be a total restructuring of economics, honestly, full circle. Like, talks about politics on the whole geographical, like the whole geography of the world, those geopolitical talks.
Oh yeah,
are gonna be all exposed, and they're gonna find that increase, and it's gonna be all a part of the economy fully restructuring. It's like what you had said about the Great Depression and us being able to like use astrology to look back to certain dates. Okay, one of the things I always try to remember with this is, you know, currency is only based off of what we value. Like, this is the major thing. Like, it's based off of what we value. So at a certain point, for an example, people value bread. Okay, it's like there weren't coins yet. You had bread. Okay, that was worth something. If you think about prison, people value cigarettes. All right, like, okay, you give me 3 sticks.
Right. True.
A magazine, whatever. So it's like, I want people to really just take that moment to start to understand, you know, even if you step outside of what you've seen so far through astrology, think, what do you value? Okay, and understand that what you value is something that you can then trade off, right? And so, like, I had gave that example about like my throat, okay, like that throat chakra, just speaking. It's like, I really do value speaking and helping people to get through their traumas. Like, this is one of my values, and it is one of my exchanges of currency. Like, it literally has become a form of currency for me to just speak my thoughts and what I
love that.
You feel me?
To share your perception, to manifest that, right?
Straight up.
You know, in conclusion, personally, you know, the best thing to think about North Node in Taurus is, in a nutshell, you are an infinity heir. Your net worth is infinity. You have a vessel with which you can pull out anything you can conceive into your reality. You've been lied to and made to believe that your net worth is based on your physical assets. And it's not. You have at least like billions or trillions of cells in your body, and you are divine as a being. So like, your net worth is infinity. And this is where it's real, where you just said it right now, your own voice manifests everything you do. You have skills and services to barter with other people to where you'll never really need, you know, dollar currency, because you're the currency. Your energy is the currency. So this is where that's going to be super real. And everything about this next cycle is to awaken the next generation. Pluto Sagittarius to Pluto Pisces are the leaders of the new school. Well, Pluto Sag is the leaders of the new school, but those 4 generations are going to lead us into the new age. And this is to prepare for their awakening. And Pluto Libra, Pluto Scorpio, Pluto Virgo, Pluto Leo are the way showers where we're finally bringing that into form. So it's amazing.
It's dope. I see Astro Chef in here, Lord Virgo to Astro Chef talking at.
Shout out to Lord Virgo.
Yeah, what's out to Lord Virgo? talking about back with the overly masculine women, simply wanting to be noticed and to be treated right. And I
Right.
think this is where this is what I love. I think that just gone underspoken even about this transit when it comes to South Node, Scorpio, North Node, Taurus. It's like Taurus is simplicity. Okay. I literally just had this conversation. It's like to be able to go outside, put your yoga mat on the grass or not, and just sit there without having a phone. Okay. Without having to have to go through some excessive, deep, dark shit. Okay. Let's say Scorpio, South Node, but to be able to enjoy the simple pleasures. Okay. With nature. Okay. This is one of the things I think. You think agriculture and Taurus, nature is in that natural beauty is in the works. And it's like, I really find that playing out into this whole masculine feminine discussion as well, where it's like, I find us starting to step into more simple forms of sexuality. Like sexuality is the axis in a sense, like you said, to detach, not too heavy on it, but in a sense, sexuality is the axis, being Taurus on the sensual side, Scorpio on the soul bound side, right? The soul ties. And it's like, I see us walking away from having to have shit be so deep, so soulful on every level, and just accepting the more simplistic parts about our nature, about our sexuality. Like, let's say back to the original, quote unquote, of men being men, women being women. But I think it was important for us to go through that little shift where men became more emasculated so they can understand what feminine energy within them looks like. So we don't have the rebirth of this Pluto and Capricorn, right? We don't have to like go. This is how it ends in a sense. In a sense, it's like, you know, choosing the goals over humanity. Okay, like I got to hit these numbers no matter what it costs. It's like I think that capitalist America and Europe, call it what you want, needed to have that integration of that feminine touch. And I see that happening through 2022, where, yeah, on one side, it dipped a little bit too low, quote unquote. They got emasculated, great. But I think it was important to soften.
That's a fact.
You see what I'm saying? We had to soften that blow.
And when you understand that, you recognize that there isn't a problem. Like people think that it's a problem, but the only reason why it's like that is because it was the other polarity where women were too feminine and men were too masculine. That's what created where we're at right now. It's just cyclical. And so now that it's at the other polarity, now we're coming back into a balance. Yeah. And that's really what's going to happen.
Yeah. It's gonna balance back out.
And you know what's gonna do that? Rest in peace, Stephen Arnio. Hard times make strong men.
Yeah.
Strong men make easy times.
Yeah.
Easy times make weak men. Weak men make hard times. Hard times make strong men. That's where we're at right now.
That's the simplicity.
Because this generation hasn't known war, but it's a thing to do. It's about to. And that's gonna bring out the realest part of everybody. All that bullshit we've been doing is good. It's done. It's done. And it's going to test who you really are at your core. So I'm here for it. Even myself, there's some shit I need to work within myself that it's going to call me out on, and I just have to deal with it and step into my power.
Oh, yeah. I already looked at it. I'm like, I just have this feeling, again, being a Scorpio rising, South Node now going over that. I'm like, yo, I can see myself in therapy for some shit that I don't even know what's going to happen yet. Right? Like, it's like, I know something is still deep inside. Like something is in the belly of the beast that's going to have to come out, and I'm going to need my own forms of therapy. I just kind of foresee that, but also taking those natural forms of it, right? Like, because there ain't going to be no pill pop and all that. I can tell you that right now. But finding those Taurian natural and simple forms of medicine. I look at Taurus as like the beginning of natural medicine, right? If Virgo is kind of like where we begin to incrementally master what that natural medicine looks like using Mother Earth, I think Taurus is like the base of it.
Yep, Taurus is the most solid. It is the base. I love it.
Yo, I tell you what, it's a good time. Anybody ask questions? What might you want to know before we go ahead and wrap this up? Because I'm still out here in San Diego and I'm gonna go get some sunshine. But it's a good time to go ahead, ask a question. Any last minute things that y'all want to really know about this transit, drop it in the chat. I'll stick around for a couple minutes in that time frame. And beyond that, y'all go out there and manifest this Marin Altman. And we're gonna get on here.
Right.
We're gonna get this three-way going. We're gonna get this three-way pop in. We're gonna have a Gemini, Aries, and a Scorpio. And as you guys figure out your questions, I want to let you know I'm running a free concert. Okay, I have
That's awesome.
Yo, it's gonna be dope. It's gonna be an emotional freedom concert. We're gonna be doing some breath work. Okay, we're gonna be doing some finding ways for you to release emotion out of your body, and some of that's gonna happen through music. Okay, there's a jazz concert going down. It's free to join. Right now, I think there's like 10 people or so in there. It's gonna be live. Just gonna let y'all know that now. So if you're afraid to be on camera, then don't come because it's gonna be live. But I dropped that in the chat as well. I thank you all for your thumbs up. Check out the Peace Dealers channel. Anybody that has not been there, I put it in the description down below. But I'll also drop it in the chat. Let me see. Oh shit, it was on the other video. They gave me a new YouTube link. Here, let me go to that right now. Let me get your channel in here. If y'all don't know them, check them out. Magical Moon Messages are my fucking favorite. I told them that already. I'm like, welcome to your magical moon message. I get hyped up when I hear that first line.
I love that. Word.
I literally get hyped up when I hear that first line. Welcome to the magical moon message. Okay, bang. I'm just typing your name in here now. I'm gonna go ahead and drop his channel. By the time I come back, you better have questions in there. Otherwise, you're about to get left in the dust.
Did I tell you Facebook banned me for 30 days from going live and whatnot? Do you know why?
Why?
Because in May 2018, I told people that I'm selling dick pics for $5 and to support Black businesses. Because, there was that OnlyFans craze and the premium snaps. I'm like, I got premium snaps, $5. Facebook said you're exploiting sexual services. And so even though this was 2 years, even though this was like 3 years ago, you petty ass meta motherfucker, like, that's how I know it's real. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that, and that let me know, like, they can delete anything I have at any time if they want to, like, just go to the past and be like, oh, you did this. So it is what it is.
No,
like,
Instagram wiped me completely, bro. I can't even, all that stuff's connected. I can't even go on a web browser not logged in to see Instagram. They just like, they recognize me. They're like, nope, we got metadata on you and it ain't going down. Like I'm dead wiped. I'm sure I can create a brand new account, but it's the same thing you said. Like I was thinking the way I used to write my captions, I'm a writer, right? And the way I used to write my captions, I was like, these things were blog posts. So I always had the intention that when the day came, pay somebody, go through my captions and drop them up as blog posts.
Exactly. Genius.
Right? But all that noise is wiped. That junk is wiped. And I get threatened by Facebook on the rag from same shit though, from like four or 5 years ago. I got a warning. They said you got one more chance. And it was like off of my uncle. My uncle's birthday came and I said, happy birthday, you sexy chocolate man. Swear to God. And they gave me a warning and they were like, this is your last chance.
Wow. And then you can't even appeal the decision because they'll be like, oh, we don't have enough. So it's censorship. Like they're just picking and choosing who to pick off and whatnot. It's ridiculous. I was like, it's my uncle. And I called him a sexy chocolate man or something like that. You didn't even curse. Like you didn't even say anything like, bro, like, wow.
That's exactly what was said.
Wow.
Because they be trying to reference things from like 4 or 5 years ago, and it was like, here was your other warning. But the way they did it though, they try to play soft on you and be like, hey, we're doing you a favor.
Yes! Yes! Yo, that shit infuriates me. I had a police officer do that to my face.
I heard the story.
Right.
Tell us.
Well, long story short, he tried to, I was walking across the street and at like 12 in the morning. The street I was walking to was my apartment, like right in front of me. There was no cars. And I walked across the street when the stop thing was there. And the cop that had passed U-turned. I didn't even see him until he came to like pull over and harass me. And he was talking about, I'm doing you a favor. I just want to protect you. And I said, thank you for wasting my time. And he's like, I could give you a fine and everything. I was like, are you going to give me a fine? He said, no, thank you for wasting my time. And I walked away because like the shit is just like, it's if you enable it, it's psychological warfare. It's really fucked up.
I've been trying to tell people, I think this is where Aries, a lot of people trying to play Aries, but
every day, that's learning astrology taught me that like the disrespect to Aries is like,
That's just next level.
It's next level, bro. It's
Level, yo.
crazy.
I be
That's what
trying,
Uranus and Aries taught me. Like, holy shit. Like,
yo,
damn.
I had to learn my lessons on a whole new way. I had to realize, like, you gave the best example ever. The best example ever. When you were like, this is how you treat an Aries. You throw the rock and you have one hand behind your back and then you just waving like this. And I had to learn that because there's what that looks like in real life application is like bandwagon, people playing you, but they're dragging you down. But because there's that always that new spark of forgiveness as well, right? That it doesn't hold on to grudges. So it's like it thinks that, well, I'm over it. Everybody else is, it's not even thinking about everybody else. It's a selfish sign. Like it's the sign of self. So it's kind of like what happens is we don't really notice how many people are pulling back and like dragging down because we're just moving forward. We're cardinal, forward pushing energy. And the reason I say that is I think one of the big lessons that Aries is here to teach people is what healthy aggression looks like.
Right. Ooh, that's Chiron. Yep, that's deep. Yep.
Yo, it's literally, and this is Chiron and Aries right now. This Chiron and Aries. So it's like, so I've been realizing for myself, it's like, because you have two sides of it. You got people that are always going to play us to basically say that it's unacceptable. And I got an Aries sun, Aries moon natal, Aries Mercury, right? So it's like, you're going to say it's unacceptable to pop off on somebody that deserved it. Or is, you can't do blah, blah, blah. And so there's like this 10-year hell where I think all the fire signs were like in this little prism until 2020 December. And it's like, yo, we kind of got out, and little by little, they're getting that fire back. So what I'm saying is like, for anybody listening to this right now, don't ever pretend that aggression is a bad thing. You can have unhealthy forms of aggression. This is absolutely true, right? You shouldn't just go off and hail and punch everybody in their mouth. It could be that simple. Some part of me believes it should be that simple. If you deserved it.
My Mars and Aries is like, yes, you can. Yes, you can pop everyone in the mouth.
Yes, you can. But then we got Saturn that still exists, right? Karma still has its role. But what I am saying is like, don't ever pretend that there's not a healthy form of aggression that's required to survive and thrive in this world, because it exists. So like what he has said, most people would never talk back to a cop like that. And he's a black man. He's a black man. That's one of the boldest things I've ever heard. Like, the narrative of being able to just be shot just because you're black is so simple without talking back. So, that motherfucker is brave on the other side of this camera.
And the moon was like on Saturn that day. Like it was like a Saturn theme. So I peeped it. I was like, okay, it was Leo season. It was opposite Saturn. So I'm like, I have to step up to authority. And like, that taught me like, yo, if I could talk like that to a cop, like I'm not taking shit from anybody. Like, to be honest, like it is.
Right. I got a good question here. Well, two. One, they said, what's up with the retreat? So we're gonna address that briefly. Two, what part of the transit is dealing with people trying to purposely push your buttons? And how should I deal with it as an Aquarius moon?
That's a good question. So I feel like Lord Virgo, the Astro Chef, is talking about a lifelong aspect, especially as an aqua moon. There's so much that will try and push Aquarius, sun or moon, because Aquarius has knowledge. So people who don't know shit will always try and push your buttons. So, but as far as this transit, a lot of it is Neptune and Pisces, because Neptune and Pisces is putting up this fog that's allowing people to be like, oh, the reality doesn't matter. Like, yeah, you can be a biological penis haver and be a woman, or yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, no, this is racism, or yeah, like, so it's really causing people to just be bullshit. Straight up. It's the most delusional shit ever. So I'm blaming Pisces for that. Like, anytime you ask why, the answer is always Pisces. Right, but Pisces is lit. Pisces is legit. But the answer is always Pisces as to why it's happening, especially as a Virgo. Virgos are being attacked by Pisces by being gaslit with the fact, because Virgos given the facts and they're being demonized for telling the facts. And it's fucked up. It's very fucked up.
Virgo season was wow.
Yes, it was one of my favorite seasons because Virgo came through. Virgo said receipts, 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 facts, bitch, receipts, receipts. And I was just like, thank you.
Yo,
Thank you, Virgo.
honestly, Virgo, thank you, Virgo, for real, because there's so much stuff that can never be rescinded from Virgo season. There's so many facts that can never be. It almost seems like they kind of still found a way to push them under the rug, but it didn't work. It didn't work because it was, I think of the sixth house, 12th house is like, mind and body, right? In its own different way, like mental health on the 12th house. Yeah. And it's like Virgo's daily actions is directly responsible for the mental health. So it's like, what am I saying with that? It's like they threw out so many facts that you'd be delusional. You'd have to accept that you're delusional to not accept the truth at that level that they were dishing them facts out.
No, but that's the thing. But guess what happened? They dished the facts out. They got censored. It got denied. It was living delusion and evil, because evil can be aware that it's real, but still deny. And so this is what's all coming together.
Oh, crap. Virgo season is when Instagram banned me.
Damn.
Straight up.
That's crazy.
And it's wild because that's when
I tried to tag you on Instagram, by the way. I couldn't find you, so I didn't know you got banned.
I'm a ghost on that shit, bro. Damn. When I tell you my name is like, it's like, don't whisper that shit. It's like saying Voldemort on there nowadays.
Oh my God. Don't worry, it might happen to me soon, because they're like, your account may be deleted soon. And everything, like I have 6 posts that they removed. None of them broke guidelines.
Yo, and they got me on the rationale they said they got me on, and I think it's just because of Kanye West. It was Kanye West playing in the background of one of my videos.
Oh, so copyright? That is so dumb.
Total banned off of copyright. Dumb. Because of Kanye West. I think part of me think it was just because it was Kanye. Part of me thinking like if it was like Avril Lavigne, I would have been good or something. But like, but they were like, you can't promote this motherfucker. Like,
no, there's truth to that. Trust me. There's truth to that. Yeah.
Yo, out of there. So I guess the other question. And to finish that for the Moon and Aquarius piece, how do you deal with it? Is you remember that. And I try to be careful when I say this, but remember that you're almost above it all. Like, honestly, in a sense, like, because you have that ability to be the observer outside of the observation, and be able to see, dimensions, okay, and intellectually process what the branches look like of possibilities. Okay, I'm gonna say the branch of possibilities. That's how you deal with those buttons being pushed. You see already up front how many different ways this could go, and then you use your objectivity. You remember that you're a side of humanity, and you take a step back and you realize, damn, you know what, actually that person just was abused emotionally when they were young, and this has nothing to do with me, right? So I think that's how you kind of deal with it with the Aquarius moon. But I also have to say you have to be very careful when it comes to Aquarius. Has a very
touch.
Yeah, it's real disruptive in the spaces of fear and anxiety, okay, potentially even rage on the opposite side of Leo. It's like sometimes those things really badger an Aquarius, and you got to be very careful of when you get so fixed in your thought process on the branch of possibilities that you just ignore that you need to accept that fire, that heartfelt passion that Leo delivers for you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that's how you work with that Aquarius moon. The way out is your heart.
And to answer his question about transits for you specifically, Lord Virgo, what's pushing your buttons is Saturn in Aquarius on your moon and the Uranus square. So like you can't escape it, because like you'll go to different places, and through that energy, Saturn will send people to fuck with you. And that's to trigger you emotionally. So you either draw boundaries or, you kind of structure that soul. But you Gucci, man, your soul just evolved. This is definitely going to be masterful.
Yeah. So here's the last thing we're going to hit. I guess wait, what is this? Okay, interesting. So much. This is further up in the chat. Eventbrite link. Yeah, it's in there now. The retreat. So actually Mike and I got another meeting. I think like we're waiting to after the retrograde finishes. I think it's like February 3rd, the Mercury retrograde finishes, and on the 29th, Venus retrograde finishes. So I think we got to meet on like February 6th. We're just waiting for those retrogrades to finish. as we kind of go through this whole rewriting of the values, right? Like, what do we really value about relationships? What do we value about business? What do we value about X, Y, and Z? So our next meet outside of online surface about the retreat specifically is going to be like February 6th or so. So however that convo goes, we still got like 2 to 3 weeks before these retrogrades finish, where it's like we got our own shit to process, right? Like we got things that are still in the process of catching up when it comes to like value systems, when it comes to money, when it comes to everything. But you want to give them at least what we talked about, like what it might look like for the retreat?
Absolutely. Oh yeah. So definitely, you know, I think the place is still to be announced, right? But it's definitely a good taste of some astro magic. We're going to be bringing a lot of these themes and concepts, which is a major North Node Taurus theme. We're going to bring a lot of these themes and learnings that we have understood so much for like in a mental way, like in an intellectual way, and, you know, make it real for you. Actually add some practicality into how to integrate these tools into your life. And I like to think of this as like a back to basics thing too. Me personally, I'll be sharing a lot of abstractification of archetypes of signs, but in its most basic form. But now we're updating it. You know what I'm saying? Instead of seeing Cancer as emotional, we're going to see him as psychic and more priestly. So, yeah.
And I guess on my behalf, it's like, you know, mind you, my background before astrology existed for me was in exercise physiology.
Oh, nice.
And that's the body, right? Like literally it's the body. So this is like Taurus, and we're in the Taurus North Node. So right now I'm in San Diego. I came here partially for a retreat and another client. And it's like on that, you know, things like fire breathing, if you will, these different things are going to help to get us in the right state of mind. Okay, as well as like embodiment flow movements, like to get us the breathing, the breath work is really like the specialty of mine, is like to get us in the right state of mind so that we can step back into our body, so we can get a little bit out of our mind, okay, so that we can actually embody what you guys learn, right? So what you learn about everything Mike just said, to be able to actually integrate that whole process so that you also feel, okay, in your body that natural worth, okay, natural worth being Taurus. Like I literally see that, like, so that you, because it's like, you know, speaking in the mirror, I love myself, I love myself, I love myself. Like, okay, you know, depending on where you are, I've done that and there's some benefit. However, when you don't believe it, okay,
right,
it don't really stick. And so
yep.
Some of the things are going to help you do to actually get your body to be actually in integrity as well with what you learn via astrology. And obviously I love astrology too, so I'm going to be talking that shit every day.
Yep, let's get it.
Hey, we'll see you all soon. I thank you guys for coming up. Mike, big love on this. I've been looking to do this transit, so that's lit.
Appreciate you. We can definitely do a part 2 on my channel.
If they let you back, and when they let you back.
Yeah.
They got you. They can, everybody love Mike, man. You can't keep him down for too long. Because at the end of the day, you're bringing them hella money too.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like it's what you said. It's been a hardcore acceptance of owning the value. If my Instagram page is removed, if my YouTube page is removed, I lose all those subscribers. I can just start from scratch, and I'll probably surpass everything I did much quicker. So, yeah. And I got a mailing list. So shout out to the mailing list. Make sure you get your mailing list.
So you got a link. You want to drop your mailing list in here right now?
Oh, good looks.
Yeah, definitely check out his mailing list. I'll try to update whatever he drops here and also put it in the description. That's that Aquarian love, yo. We gotta start teaming up more and more and stop pretending that we are out in this battle zone alone, because it's not true. So where you dropping it, Mike? Right here in I'm
trying to see.
No, you can do it as well in the chat, no?
Yeah, I'm gonna do it in the chat.
Yeah. And then let's do this. So I tell y'all what, while he's doing that, I'm gonna also have him send it to me. You can send it to me WhatsApp as well, because I know you got your next thing to do.
The best thing I can think of is,
because I don't know if let you drop a link here.
I don't have a link right yet. I used to, but I have my website, and if you go to the very bottom of my website, you can join.
So here's what I'll do on the I'll get that and then I'll put it in my description after. Thank you guys for your thumbs up. We'll see you all soon. This shit was lit. I'm excited. Go enjoy your life. Big love.
Whoop.